everyone, and welcome back to another Sims 3 tutorial. You're probably wondering, a tutorial? Why do we have the abandoned Victorian here? Well, I have been getting multiple questions on how to do the moving of the floor. How did I get the floors to, like slant or sink down into the ground like I have here in this Victorian, as if the house or the porch was sinking into the ground with bad foundation. I've also been asked multiple times on different ways of doing stairs and how did I create a certain look with them. Is it possible to do the stairs a certain way? And everything pretty much revolves around the same thing that I used to create this look here in the abandoned Victorian, where it looks like the foundation is, sinking. So we're going to go ahead and we will get started with the first portion of the tutorial. Okay, in this tutorial we are going to work with the in-game cheat of ConstrainFloorElevation, and this is going to be pretty much cut up into parts. I had already tried recording this tutorial and it ended up being quite a bit longer than I thought, so we're going to go ahead and cut this up into parts. We will talk about the different types of stairs using the in-game cheat. Some of them are going to be, some of them you might already know how to do, and others just might maybe be an idea that you never gave it a thought, or maybe didn't try, or maybe you have tried and you just wasn't getting it quite right, at least not the way you thought it was supposed to look. So we're going to go ahead and this is going to be split up into parts. In this one we're going to focus on the in-game cheat, and basically we're just going to go over that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a foundation in, just a little bit, just a small one. We're not going to be doing any kind of building. I'm just putting this in to kind of give you an idea of what this cheat does. So I'm going to put 2 floors in. We'll go ahead and put the room in that way. There we go. Let's see, I probably got, figured the roof is on. Let's see, let's go ahead and take this off. And then we will, no, it didn't go off. I didn't think so. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to put a wall here. And I'm putting it there because I just want to show you the difference that this will make depending on what kind of foundation you have and whether or not you have one at all. So first we're going to go ahead and explain what happens. We all know that we can move the terrain and without using any in-game cheats. If you have a foundation, it will move it just fine around your foundation, all the way around, and it doesn't do anything to the walls. Okay, so it goes all the way around, and it actually looks really nice when you have a foundation. However, when you don't have a foundation, this is what you're going to get. So let's go ahead, and it does not move the walls at all, and it kind of sinks down towards the wall, kind of as if it's going to bring all the water to your house, and it's going to ruin your foundation, your walls, and pretty much destroy a house, at least in real life. In Sims, of course, that does not happen. But this is what will happen if you do not have that on, and it does not look pretty. I mean, not everybody has a foundation, and you just cannot move the ground around it. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to show you what some of the things that this cheat can do. So you open your cheat bar or menu or whatever it is that you call it by hitting Control, Shift, and C, and you're going to type in ConstrainFloorElevation space false, and by putting in false, that is going to basically turn it off, and this is going to allow us to now move walls. So when we go over here to this part and raise this terrain, now we're moving all of it. Instead of it going, up to the wall and leaving the house one level, we're now raising the entire structure instead of just the ground. Same with here. Now we're going to move the entire structure with the ground instead. So if I were to flatten it out, oh, I hit the wrong one. We want, what's it going to do? Oh no, okay. Let's try to find one that is actually going to raise it up, is what I'm trying to do. There it goes. Raised it up a little bit. Even though it flattened out most of it, you can see with the lines it is still, you know, not quite right. It's still a little off. So let's go ahead and move over here and do this one. If you were to do it now, you can raise the entire structure. Without this cheat, you could not do that. You wouldn't be able to just do the ground underneath and raise the entire structure up. A few other things that will happen if you have this cheat on and you delete the foundation, it's going to do that. Basically, it makes the entire wall go up to the entire full length, full wall. You can easily fix that. If this is the is what you're going for, you can fix it by just taking it and leveling out the floor above, and now you have this up and everything else is level. If we did not have this cheat on, we're going to go ahead and take it off. Now if you're wondering how did I come up so fast, all you have to do is open up your cheat bar and hit your arrow key up, and that will bring whatever it is you typed in last, and then all we're going to do is change false to true. And now I want to show you if we do not have this on at all, you see the red, it's not going to move the wall, just like before when we were working with the ground. If it's not on, it's not going to change the walls. It will not change your foundation either. So in order to change that or fix any of that, you have to have it on false. And now we can change it, move the walls again, and flatten everything out if we want. We can either flatten the floor above, or we can come in, if maybe this was a mistake, maybe we didn't want to hit, maybe we didn't want to delete the foundation and it caused this. All you have to do is flatten out that first floor and it'll be back to where it was. Okay, one of the other things that will happen that you can do with this is, let's go ahead and do an example of attaching a garage to the foundation, because a lot of people want to know about that as well. You see a lot of those questions. Normally when you're trying to put a wall up to a foundation, it tells you covered by floor tile, and then the wall will kind of slant down, and then you can't do it. You can take this all the way up to the square before, but then when you try to attach it, of course you get the error that you can't do that. So all you gotta do is put in the cheat, change it to false, and now we are able to. Of course it's going to create what I said that it normally will do with this cheat. It raised everything up. That is okay. When you're doing a garage, all you have to do is go to the first level where the foundation is with the cheat on and flatten it out. And then what we're going to do next is you're going to put in the next wall on top. Whenever you're doing this, you always want to make sure this top wall is on. What we're going to do is we're going to delete. Now as you notice, I had the cheat on, but it is not making this move up. That's because this is not considered a foundation. The foundations are the ones that do that if they get deleted. So now we're going to go and we're going to put in a wall underneath. As you can see, it moved everything up just like before. All you have to do while the cheat is on is go to the floor above and flatten it out. You don't have to do this just for garages. I've actually done this type of technique depending, sometimes there's a door in my garage, so I will make a smaller one just like this, just for the door itself, just something small. So now you can fit your garage door in. And like I was saying, sometimes I even have maybe a side door. You do the same thing depending on how big your door is. We're going to put in a 1 square door. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put that wall in, and then we're going to flatten out the entire lot, and then we're just going to put in a side door to our garage. Now, one of the things about doing this is when the floor is angled up like that, windows, doors are not going to go in it correctly. As you can see it glitching out, that the wall is going through the door. So while you have a wall going up like that, there we go, for some reason it was stuck down below. As long as it's going up like that, you can't put a window or a door in this square right here on each side. Occasionally, like you just seen, I put it in and it looked like it was in the right spot, but I couldn't get it to, not be glitched or whatever you want to call it. I don't exactly know what causes it, or maybe it's because Move Cheats is on. I'm not sure. That could very possibly be it. I always have Move objects on. But all you gotta do is bring it up to where it pops up a little bit higher, and then your window will go into place where it is supposed to. Now, one of the other things about doing something like this is we'll go ahead and cover really quick here since we have it here. Depending on your patterns that you put on, let's go ahead and go to siding, since most of the time it would be siding here anyway. Sometimes it's others. It's not, you see how it slants? And it doesn't quite look, it doesn't look very good. So that is what's going to end up happening. About the only way you can get rid of that is by using, like even these slanted ones, is slanted incorrectly. But the only way you're going to be able to get rid of those is by using a solid color. So we'll go ahead and get one real quick. A solid color with nothing on it, no patterns. This does have a slight pattern because it's painted, but it's not quite as noticeable. If I can get my screen to go near it, you can kind of see it, but it's not as noticeable as stripes. Another ones that will not look good on this, so you can use a solid color. Most of the time you won't see it. Any kind of brick or stone is not going to look, it's not going to go in right, so you're not going to be able to use any of those. Under paneling, we do have ones that go straight up and down, and that is base game. So even if you don't have any expansion packs, you can do this. Just get the base game paneling that goes up and put it in all the slots. So that is just a little bit that you can do with this Constrained Floor Elevation sheet. Just make sure when you are done using it, you always bring it back up and make sure you turn it off by hitting true instead of false. That way when you're working in your house, if you happen to click on something, you can delete it. As you can see, I'm deleting the foundation now, and it's not causing a problem. That way you don't mess up the rest of your build, and it can be kind of a pain when you do that, and it just screws everything up because it can mess up your grid lines, it can mess up where your Sims can go, and sometimes it can block something if the grid lines or something is not quite right. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you, by using the Constrained Floor Elevation sheet, how I created the look in the abandoned Victorian Classic. So we're going to bring up our Constrained Floor Elevation sheet. We're going to change that to false. And how I created that was I took the stairs. One of the things that you can do with this cheat on is you can take the stairs and you can put them on the foundation, or even the wall, like a second floor of your house or third floor. And as you can see, it lowers the foundation. So I get rid of the stairs, and you can pretty much, depending on how far you want the foundation to sink based on the look you're going for, you can lower it as much as you want. Just keep in mind that when you do that, as you can see, sometimes the ground is going to sink as well. And as you can see, then when you try to bring it back up, it will do that. And if we were to try to level it out, of course, we would go back to normal. So one of the things that is going to happen with this is it's going to, sink the ground as well. So all I ended up doing along with that, after I sunk the foundation a little bit in that area, is I just found a few trees, not really trees, but just some like old looking weeds and stuff like that. Let's get, well, here's a thorny bush. Let's go with, no, probably not a banana leaf. Brambles or whatever. You want to make sure you go down to the ground level, because if we would have stayed up here, it would have actually went on top of the porch area. So you go underneath, and I just stuck it there, and as you can see, they poke through the foundation area, and it kind of looks like it's coming up through the wood. Like in that house, I had a wood floor on it. So we'll go ahead just so you can see a little bit more what that looks like really quick here. I put the floor in there. Now it looks like it's wood, and it looks like, of course you would change the color and anything like that, and it looks like the weeds are growing up through the foundation because, of course it's uncapped, not taken care of. So that's pretty much all I really did, is I just went through and I grabbed, some of this stuff that would kind of look like weeds. I'm not really sure what pampas grass, I guess, is one that looks like it. I think I used a bunch of that and had it coming up through. And of course, when you use these, it will also change. You won't be able to see as much of the ground sinking through either. And I guess we don't want a fern. But it will pretty much give it the look of being overgrown and the foundation sinking in. So thank you for watching. That is just a little bit of a tutorial showing you how this in-game cheat does work and some of the things that you can do with it. So make sure you check out the next part. I don't know how many parts is going to be in with this tutorial series. I guess it just depends on how many different kinds of staircases we ended up doing and how long each of them take. So be sure to check out each one so you can see different variations of using this in-game cheat. And I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.